If you're on a day trip to Lundy, you won't be able to do much more than just enjoy the experience of being somewhere different, cut off from the rest of the world for a few hours. But people come for other reasons too, and Neil Wilcox, Lundy's warden, outlines some of the features that attract people here.
As far as the natural history is concerned, people come here to look at its seabirds. We have one of the largest seabird breeding stations in the southwest of England. People come to Lundy to look at migrating birds, particularly in spring and autumn, not only to look at the commoner migrants, but also in the hope that they might see something rare and unusual, perhaps a bird that's been blown off course from some faraway exotic place. And then people come also to study the botany of the island. There's this plant called the Lundy cabbage that's found nowhere else at all outside Lundy, first described in the 1930s. That's obviously something that's completely unique to Lundy. There's a great range of things that are interesting about Lundy's, not only its natural history, but also its archaeology. There's, for instance, Bronze Age settlement up at the north of the island. Not a lot was known about that until there was a huge fire in the 1930s, which completely stripped the north end of the island of its vegetation and also of all its soil. And what was left were these hut circles and field boundaries. People obviously cultivated crops up there, and they also kept animals. And it's quite interesting that the sort of animals they would have kept are very similar to the Soay sheep, which you can presently find running wild on the island. Now, the Soay sheep are a very primitive breed of sheep that were introduced to Lundy by Martin Coles-Harman in the 1940s. He made a number of introductions. And then there's the Devil's Slide, which is particularly popular with climbers. It's a huge 400-foot slab of granite, streaked with black and orange lichens, and it attracts climbers from all over the country. For some reason, it seems to have some sort of magnetic appeal to climbers. And then there's the earthquake. The earthquake was supposedly formed in the 1750s, resulting from tremors from a great earthquake in Lisbon, in Portugal. Whether that's a bit fanciful or not, I don't know.
Another favourite point is just in front of where we're sitting, in fact, the battery. They like to climb on that too, don't they?
Yes, the battery is very popular for climbers, but the battery also has another interest. During the 1850s, the fog warning system for the old light was sighted there. And the two cannons, Georgian cannons, that were used are still actually down there. And they were fired about once every 10 minutes in times of fog. Apparently once they were fired for, I think it was something like 72 hours continuously.
Lying as it does in the mouth of the Bristol Channel, Lundy is a dangerous obstacle for shipping. And this has always been a busy seaway, so it's not surprising that there have been a great number of shipwrecks on its shores. This is the forward part of the most recent of them, the Cargsberg, which came to grief here in 1980. Today there are lighthouses at both the northern and southern ends of the island. Built in 1896, they replaced the existing lighthouse, which had been erected in 1819. At 567 feet above sea level, it was the highest lighthouse in Britain, but it was so frequently obscured by low cloud that it proved singularly ineffective. The old light still makes a marvellous viewing platform, though, if you've got the energy to climb to the top, that is. And I think it's just the right place to end our summer journey. It's been a journey that's taken us 100 miles along some of the most fascinating coastline you could hope to find. And it's finally brought us to the point where the Bristol Channel becomes the Atlantic Ocean. I've enjoyed it enormously. I hope you have too.